Join us each week for some booze-free banter about life without booze.
If you're entertaining the idea of cutting back your booze by a day, a week, a month, or for the rest of your life, we would love for you to tune in.
Buckle up and come along for a ride that may just change your life. Just a heads up, some of our conversations we have may be triggering for some. Reach out to your local resource support centre. If you're in Australia, that's Lifeline 131114. Psst, hey Maso.
Psst, hey Breeza.
Did you know that the Altina collection of non-alc wines are not only available in bottles but cans as well?
What? Cans? How good?
How good. So the cans are awesome for picnics, sipping on the sand at the beach or by the pool.
Oh, love that.
Keeping it classy. And they're all natural, plant-based, gluten-free, massive tick for you, Maso.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes, yes, yes.
Vegan, cruelty-free and Australian-made. Go
Aussies.
Just another awesome thing or awesome things about Altina. How good.
Massive tick, 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 tick. Yes, so
I love
good,
you, Altina. Maso.
Breeza.
What's cracking?
Oh, what's crack-a-lackin'? How has your week been, Breeza? Tell me all about it. You look so fancy today.
Oh, I'm a little bit corporate today, aren't I?
You are. You look so good. You look good every day, but you really stepped it up. You're power dressing today.
Yes,
What's happening?
Well, I don't know. I just felt like it, I think, today. But I do want to share with you what I did last week.
Yes.
Which was I went into a local workplace and I spoke to them about alcohol-free drinks.
Oh, this is so amazing.
It was so good. So it's something I've been working on. It's called, the little project's called Wetting Your Whistle and the Workplace. And the whole aim of it is just to raise awareness in the workplace about, alcoholic alternatives, such as alcohol-free drinks, and also just to, plant some education in there about booze. But the group I was speaking to, they were a bloody cracking bunch of mainly blokes, and they were factory workers.
Yeah.
And I knew that. So, but when I got there, the talk was actually outside, kind of in like a bit of a side shed. And I sort of took a look at them. I'm like, it was probably 34 degrees. They just come out of a factory. They're hot as F. They were all greased up in their high vis. And I'm like, this is not the right audience to deliver a talk about educating them about booze.
I had to read the room real quick.
Yeah. So I pretty much just scrapped my 10-minute spiel to 2 minutes. Yeah. And then I had a friend with me who's a tradie and he's off the gas. So he spoke to them and he really cut through to them, Maso. He got on their level and, at the end of it, he had guys come up to him and tell their story and ask for help.
Wow.
That was incredible. And the other great part of it is though we had 3 eskies of nice ice cold alcohol-free drinks. And actually I do have to mention the drink companies that came on board and supplied drinks. Massive shout out to Altina, of course. Thank you. The guys from Heaps Normal did not hesitate to send drinks my way, so that was awesome. And Tyler and Sophie from Yes You Can also came on board and supplied drinks. And we had the girls from Smug as well, but their stock just wasn't quite ready. So they were on board and they're actually sending drinks to the next talk. So huge thank you to those companies for making it possible. And so all the workers hooked into the drinks.
Unreal. Real Breeza. Actually, I think I've seen some footage of it. We'll have to share it on our Instagram page. And they were loving. There was some great feedback. They said that they couldn't tell the difference. It's just like a normal G&T to the Yes You Can as well. So that's...
Yep. It was great.
Really making some waves in this area.
Yeah, it was just a really good feeling leaving there, knowing that you'd sort of, planted a seed in someone's head. And we had leftover drinks, so we left them in their staff fridge. Hopefully they can have it for knockoff drinks, Yes. So that was really good.
Well done. Up and about.
I was about to say it got me up and about. What about you, Maso? What's been going on?
So I had a funny week. I had a funny little thing happen this week. I got an unsolicited dick pic sent to me.
Oh. How did that happen?
I'll share because it's pretty funny. So on Lisk_official in the little private section, I was just having I've got a bunch of messages in there, and there was one message from a gentleman. He probably looked like my dad. And he had rung me, video called me, asked me for my number, and then there was a photo. And obviously me being curious, I'm like, gee, this bloke's keen. Always curious to see what's behind that photo. What do you know? Massive dick pic. And it said on there, when are you going to start your Pornhub?
Oh, Maso.
Yeah. So,
where was this guy based? Like, did you do a deep dive?
No, I just reported him straight away. Immediately
Bang.
report blocked the
Great.
whole thing. But then me being me has to tell the world about it as well. So
I did. I actually saw a story about it.
So I covered the dick pic in vomit and spew emojis and then posted it on the story and started the conversation about, have you received an unsolicited dick pic? Anyway, I didn't put enough spew emojis on it because Instagram picked it up and they shut it down. I'm like, hang on a minute. So he can send me the raw deal, but I can't send it and share it with my friends. Like, what? Anyway, so I threw a few more spill emojis on it and then posted it, and off it went, and the story ran, and everyone, it just went berserk. Like, it went absolutely barango, and it was shocking the amount of unsolicited dick pics that have been sent to women. But I have to share with you this really funny message from one of our followers. It's a cracker. She says, I just can't. Do men really love themselves so much they honestly believe their veiny purple brown mushroom shaped urine tube actually makes a woman hot for them? Or does society condition them so much they believe their penis is some form of magical wand that is impossible to resist by those who come to view in magnificence? She said, the last one I received, I sent back an unsolicited dick pic I received from another guy. Isn't that gold?
What a comeback.
I know. So my tip there is, if you receive an unsolicited dick pic, send another one back.
Yes.
Isn't that good?
That is gold. I like that little tip.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Little dick tip.
That was pretty funny.
Oh, dear. Dear. Well, on that note, I think we need to have a drink.
Let's do it. What are you tucking into today,
Well,
mate?
do you know what? Because we keep smashing our Tina.
Yeah.
we're both out, and beautiful Christina there's some in the mail, there's more coming our way.
Yeah,
but for the interim, I think it was a few weeks ago when we got a good cocktail co sent us these amazing bottles.
Oh, they are so good.
So good. So I have whipped up a little Cosmo.
A little Cosmos.
And I'm going to show it. I'm actually prepared this about, 15 minutes ago, but you can still.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, the froth's still on it.
Frothy.
Yeah, but
so you shook it up.
In the spirit of things, I have got my Altina little rose petals.
Yes.
So I'm going to garnish it with that.
I love that. Good.
Tease it up a bit. What about you, Maso? What have you got?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I did have a tiny little stash left of Altina. I'll tell you about it. So I've got the Light Me Up, but that's the last drop. See, there's none left in the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see that? Can you see the label? It's not coming through very loud and clear. There it is. Delicious. I love the Light Me Up. So, yeah, tucking into some of that with the garnish. I've popped the apple garnish on today. And look at this glass that I've got. Can I show you
I like that. Yeah.
It's actually from Aldi, by the way.
Oh,
Aldi
go
Special
Aldi.
Buys. Yeah.
Go Aldi. All right, now that we've wet our whistle.
Let's do it.
You gotta have shake on it, shake on it.
Who's going first today?
Well, I feel like I went first last time. So I'm handing the baton over, Maso.
Copying it. Okay. I'm going to take you back to the UK, 2000 and the blur. The whole time, maybe there was a bit of a blur. We had a work Christmas party, actually, that I didn't even realise how well that just mashed in. Pretty loose bunch of work crew. You can imagine all the Aussies get together and we just have a proper knees up. You know, it's no such thing as getting home before the sun comes up. And
where we were, what was your job at the time?
Working for International Paintball Company.
Yeah.
You had a run of that.
I did have a stint in Birmingham.
In Birmingham. Anyway, so we have this Christmas party, and it's at an English holiday park. So where all the English folks go for their little annual holiday every year. It's on the east coast of the UK, and it was a dress-up party. everyone had to dress up, and it was sort of like I think it must have been like an 80s rock or movie star theme, because there was lots of Top Gun, Rambo, Rocky, fluoro leg warmers, crimped hair situations. There was lots of that going on. And the crew that I was with, there was the four of us girls, and I thought, what better theme, what better dress up to go as than Kiss. So we dressed up as Kiss, yeah. I even dyed my hair black for the occasion, although it was already black, but I gave it a bit of a touch-up. So we all had this mad big black hair. We painted our faces in the whole Kiss situation, and we rocked in. It was a bit of a show. Anyway, night kicked on. I don't know what happened, as you do. I remember... So each room was given a couple of bottles of booze.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone leaves their doors open, don't they? So I'm going to have to just go back a little bit. We were playing, I feel so shit about this. One of the guys that we were all in having a room party after this big party in the bar, and we were playing catch, but it was more piff at each other, but they were with bowls and plates. So we picked bowls and plates at each other's head, just completely reckless. Just right off. Anyway, I knew that these bottles of booze were in everybody else's rooms, so I decided at one stage that I was going to go steal everybody else's booze. And what's happening with the PFC? We've said we're not thieves, but we're thieving everything. So I've gone around to everyone's room and stolen their booze, because when you walk straight in the room, the kitchen's there, so it's pretty easy to swipe their bottles of vodka and what, I don't know, whatever else they've got going on. Anyway, one of the rooms actually didn't belong to one of our crew. It actually belonged, there was, when I walked in the door, there was a child standing there. And
what were you saying? What were you in a house? Like what?
No, so it's a UK holiday park. So it's a big holiday park. So we all had
like a caravan park.
Not a caravan park, like a holiday park where you have like rooms and like a big hotel, like a big hotel motel type thing.
Yep.
But it was open area, so all the balconies sort of look over this little, pool and thoroughfare situation. So I've opened this door to steal booze, and it's, what time in the morning? Like, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning or something. And I've walked in and I've got my face painted in this Kiss outfit, hair everywhere. And there's a kid standing there looking at me. I still remember it to this day, and I'm so I know. I'm the full boogeyman. The kid panicked. I panicked. I've swiped the beer and just got the booze and just got the heck out of there. And I've told this story to this day, and I feel so bad because I wonder if that kid is still having nightmares.
Oh, mate. How old was the kid?
I didn't have time to ask.
But was it a baby?
No, maybe
10-year-old?
Maybe I would say maybe 8-ish, perhaps.
Oh, mate, so
terrible.
Old enough to go, that's my worst nightmare, just enter the door.
Correct. Isn't that shocking? I feel so shit about it.
Did it sober you up a bit? Like, when you have those moments where you go, oh.
Yeah, sobered me up. But then obviously because I wanted to make it go away, I just went and got back on the sauce even harder. So, you sort of try and forget about it. But the next day, because all the girls that I was with, the 3 other band members in Kiss, they'd had enough of their face paint, and they, wanted to tidy themselves up. And I used to get really shitty about it. I'm like, what do you mean? We're still in party mode.
Yeah.
I got so upset that everyone was wanting to take their faces off. I still had mine on till about, 5 o'clock the next day, but it was like half.
Just a mess.
Just a real mess. There's actually photos of me standing in the middle of this whole thoroughfare holding a pillow with half face paint.
I'm thinking by this stage you're like the Joker.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what I was. Yeah, and it was just, it was shit.
Not your finest. Not
my greatest. And it's something that they all still spoke about. And this is the shame and regret that came with that.
Yeah. Do you want to make a public apology to the little kid?
Yep. Sorry, kid. Really sorry, kid. And
he'd be what? How old he be now? 18.
28. 28.
Still scarred.
Scarred.
No, I'm sure. I was made for love.
Yeah.
Massive trigger.
Yeah.
You know what, mate? So I'm sure he probably thought it was a little dream. and it's etched out. It's gone out of his memory. It's
Thank
gone.
you, Breeza.
It probably wasn't even awake. Like he's probably just
yeah. Thank you. That makes me feel a lot better about that. But it's something that I feel very shit about. Thank you for making that, softening the blow for me there.
Well, my shame story will also help you feel better if that's any consolation.
Okay.
It also is about a workplace event as well. So this is when I was in corporate and we were having an end of financial year party. So one of the birds in the office had organised it, and there was, probably 20 or so in the office, and I think at this stage there was slightly more girls than guys. So the girls were up and about. We were running the show for this party, and we'd even hired at the time there was this Hummer that you could hire. So we'd hired that, and the girls we were doing like hot laps in this Hummer around town, just fist pumping in the air. The sunroof thing was off. Running amok. We were running amok. So we went to a venue in town that happened to be a customer of the business. And it was getting later in the night, and the guys knew that the girls were getting rowdy, so they sort of peeled off. That was just all the girls there. And I was in my 20s at this stage. I remember one of my colleagues, I reckon she would have been in her late 30s. Like the plastic blinds that they pull down in winter to sort of keep the cold air out?
Yeah.
So she was the best way to describe it is, I don't know if you've ever seen it's like a Velcro wall where you have a Velcro suit on and you run up and smash into it.
Yes.
It was like she had those suit on and the plastic blind was the Velcro, and she just kept running up and just like splatting herself on this like plastic petition thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and obviously it was getting late in the night. I had blacked out. So I was gone by this stage. And the story goes that we were told to sort of leave because it's getting late. They were shutting up. So that was all good. Anyway, I get to work on the Monday or whatever, and my beautiful work colleague, who's an absolute legend, she goes, "Oh, Breeza, do you remember what you said to the people when we got told to leave?" I'm like, "Nah." So there was a lift, and just a warning, I'm going to swear in this because I have to I have to do justice to the story.
Yeah.
There was a lift. So we all apparently got in the lift, and my parting words were, "Get fucked, you pack of cunts." Even hearing myself say that now, mate, so I'm like, you are an asshole. An absolute asshole. Now, it doesn't end there, Maso. It doesn't end there. So a couple of weeks later, we would get a report on which customers had churned their services away from us. And guess who popped up on the list? This venue that we had been at.
Oh, no.
Had turned their services to another provider. And I dead. And because I am an honest person, Maso, I said to, because one of the girls told me, she's like, "Breeza, look, they've taken their business away." And I said, "I need to tell the boss. I need to tell the boss." And she actually said, "Don't worry, it's past. Like, what's it going to do?" I'm like, "Probably just for my own peace of mind and guilt I needed to get off my chest." But she said, "Just move on kind of thing." But yeah, I feel like it was because of the way I treated them. And, we always say this, Maso, we are not doing these things sober.
No, you're not calling everyone a pack of F and C's and then storming off as and did you give them the bird as well?
I would have noise. I would have done some sort of,
giving it this
with my hands. Yeah, something with my hands to give it some more gumption.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do. I'm obviously not going to name the place, but and I still look at that place with regret.
Oh, it still
I didn't go there for quite a long time. It took me a few years to go back there. And I think I went back there because you can have lunch there and stuff. I think I went back there with the kids just to soften the blow a bit. But hopefully they had staff turnover by then. It took me a long time to go back into it. like get to that place. So
yeah, it's a yucky feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they probably haven't even given it a second thought. And who knows?
Oh.
They might have taken their service somewhere else for a whole different reasons. It might have had nothing to do with
Thanks,
you
mate.
either. But I can certainly imagine that. Oh, just that.
yeah, yeah.
Yuck. Pretty funny though.
What do we say, Maso?
It wouldn't have happened if we weren't.
hammered. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about booze in the workplace.
We are. Wowee. We've been massive contributors to this, haven't we?
Yes, a little bit.
I've actually pulled out some facts.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yep. So
Yep,
let me just get my phone and check and double check it. Okay. So
your phone.
this now I can't remember the source. You know, I took a screenshot of it, and of course I've cut off the website where it came from. So
That's okay.
show notes. Okay.
Yeah.
So this factor is about alcohol and other drugs, and then I've got another one about just booze. So the use of alcohol and other drugs can impact on workplaces in a number of ways, affecting relationships, safety, and productivity. 3 red flags right there. That was my contributing bit, by the way. That wasn't on the actual thing. Okay. Alcohol and drugs cost Australian workplaces an estimated, buckle up here, Maso, $6 billion per year in lost productivity.
Sheesh.
Recent research has estimated that 2.5 million days are lost annually due to drinking and drug use at a cost of more than $680 million.
Holy.
That's a truckload of days, isn't it? I actually hadn't read this properly before I read it out. 2.5 million days. Holy crap.
shit sticks.
1 in 10 workers say that they have been affected by a co-worker's use of alcohol. For example, a reduced ability to do their own job, involved in an accident or close call, and having to work extra hours to cover for co-workers.
Good.
And here's another one. So this is just the booze one. Oh, no, sorry, this is booze and drugs again. It says alcohol. Alcohol use contributes to 11% of workplace accidents and injuries.
Oh. Wow.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. That's a shit ton. And it's just, it's really, really worrying. It's really, given that we can do without it, it's avoidable.
So let's unpack, Maso, some of what we believe are some of the workplaces that we think have that boozy reputation.
Okay. I'm going to go straight into nurses.
Yeah. Maso, I've written notes and nurses are at the top of my list.
No way. And bless their hearts. So we have it's one of our listeners as well. She works in oncology, and I've got lots of nursey friends that work in psych and with little bubbers as well, like in NICU, and even in the current climate in, COVID times at the moment, they're just, they wear so much of everybody else's, I'm going to say shit.
Literally.
Literally.
The emotions.
The emotions that they carry of caring for people, it's their outlet. And I just feel for them so much. And thank you for all of you nurses out there caring for our loved ones always. But, yeah, big boozy culture, the nurses, I think.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. So nurses, hairdressers.
Yes. Haley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haley had mentioned in their potty that, they drink Thursday, Friday, still with cut hair sometimes, and they'd hang out on the weekends.
Yeah. Policemen, police force.
Oh, yeah.
Big pole is a big,
and again, because is that a coping thing?
Yep, another one as well.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of them, Maso.
Yeah.
Teachers.
Yeah, boozy teachers get together.
Yep, and again, they're looking after children. They're putting up with children. Like, is it a coping thing as well?
Yep. Aviation, where I'm from.
Yep.
So pilots and cabin crew, flight crew, cabin crew. It's hard being when you're away from home and away from your friends and family so much. It is like it looks all glamorous, but it's actually quite lonely.
Yes.
Big days, and they just want to take the edge off with a little drink at the end of the day.
And
I'll unpack that. I'll unpack that.
Yeah, cool. I had corporate.
Yeah, I was going to say corporate. There you go.
And that's probably something I'll unpack later as well.
Yeah. Hospitality industry.
Yes.
Hospitality nights.
Yes. That's Sunday. The Sunday night, is it?
Yeah.
Or Monday?
I thought it was back in the day, sometimes it was a Tuesday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, every day of the week, really, to be honest.
But isn't that funny? There's like a dedicated day/night that it's your time to get blind.
Yeah, right off.
I had your blue collar workers, so your tradies.
Yep.
In fact, and we might share this on our Insta, the inspired unemployed.
The uninspired unemployed. The inspired unemployed.
Yeah, the inspired unemployed. Yeah. So they have a great reel on their Instagram where it's like this. It's like the life cycle of a tradie. So he rocks up to the job site on a Monday, and he's like just tired, just all doughy from the weekend. He gets to the work site on the Tuesday, and he's just like, he's starting to do a little bit of work. He gets to work site on the Wednesday. He's having darts again, so he's back on the darts. He gets to work on the Thursday, and his colleagues like his tradie mates like, you haven't drink on the weekend. He's like, nah, I'll probably just have a quiet one. Friday he rocks into the work site, tunes are pumping, and he's up and about. By 4 o'clock he's ripped the top off a frothy and he's smashing beer and he's into it. Yes. And it's funny because it's true.
It's so true. Yeah. In all aspects, in all workplaces, isn't it? Not just tradies, but aren't they funny? God, they've done well. They've gone absolutely blown up. Their videos are so funny, very clever. The other industry was it's escaped from my head. You go.
Oh, well, I was going to say miners, which sort of overlap tradies, but that whole mining culture that we have in the Pilbara.
Yeah.
Of you work 10 days on or week on, week off, whatever it is, and and this is going back, 10 years ago when I was up in the Pilbara and seeing it firsthand, where they'd have time off because they were getting tested every day to make, for booze. On their time off, they were just getting smashed, or they'd go down to Perth and they'd, go nuts in Perth.
Yeah. And like media, junkets, you were talking about that the other day.
Yeah. I've got a few stories to tell about junkets. But media, and Jill Stark actually writes about that in her book. In her in her book High Sobriety, which is a fantastic read, and actually Jill's coming on the podcast.
Can't wait to get you on, Jill. Thank you.
Cannot wait. She obviously worked in media as a journo, and she speaks about the excitement and the thrill of getting to that deadline. And obviously networking with people, getting stories, so you're meeting over a drink, and then celebrating the wins when you have them, when your story might make front page, or I don't know, however it's working, you celebrate. So what industries? I
was trying to think. I'm like, hang on, okay, pretty much all industries. And I was about to say the fitness industry, not so much, but they will have blinders every now and again, like big events. You know what I mean? Or
that's a good point.
Yeah, even my gym at the moment, like they're planning a managers meeting up in Byron. So, they're all getting on it then. Do you know what I mean? So they kind of play hard.
Yes.
Play hard. There's sort of a good binge. Good drinkers, don't you reckon?
But again, it's that mentality of reward, because they've trained so hard and worked so hard that their reward is to have a 3-day junket over with booze.
Yeah, or if they're working towards an event, or like Lockie. Oh,
yes.
Did we mention we've got Lockie coming on?
We've got Lockie coming on.
So when you're training for an event like boxing or football, or even footballers, actually, they'll spend the whole year off the gas, and they'll have their Mad Monday that turns into a 3-month bender into a pre-season.
Yes. Absolutely.
No?
And speaking of that, like obviously professional sport is a workplace.
Yeah.
But even I remember, because I love Geelong, I back for Geelong, their Mad Monday is quite famous, and it's covered by the local media get on board. Even the Melbourne media go and follow them around and go to the pubs, and it's this whole boozy culture.
Yeah. How fun.
Oh, some of their outfits, because they all dress up, and they always go to like the extreme. They do a great job.
What's been your favourite? Can you remember?
I loved
Bartel. Someone was a Smurf, weren't they?
Yeah, and Selwood and someone went as Princess Kate and William.
Yes.
There's been a few controversial ones. Someone was a Joker. That might have been Jimmy as well. He always pulled out some good outfits, Jimmy Bartel.
Yeah.
But he did go as a bit of a controversial one, which I'll just skip over that one.
I think that's the one I was thinking of.
Yes, I think so too. So tell us about some of your experiences, Maso.
Well, flying. So I'll talk about, okay, who do I talk about first? My experience or what I've seen. Which do you want to hear first?
Go your experience. It's the juicy bits.
Yeah, well, obviously I got blind a few times and then flew hungover and just vowed never to do it again.
Yep.
It is putrid. Oh, it's putrid. And because obviously your pressure in the cabin, it just exacerbates everything anyway. So you feel shit-ass normally being hungover, but being in the air,
being a passenger is rubbish. So I can't even imagine.
Trying to work hungover is just rotten. So I reckon I did it probably only twice in like 13 years, which is pretty good.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
But I personally, because I was a cabin supervisor, I didn't like to rock up to work after being legless the night before. Like I did it once. So there was one night in Canberra that we went out with the flight crew. I think I'd actually broken up with a boyfriend at the time and obviously was just let out of a cage and got real loose and leery. So I was with 2 flight crew and 3 cabin crew, and they were all boys. So I was just reckless. We were at a bar, we were carrying on, really leery. I was just, you can imagine. Then the next day, you can't look them in the eye.
Yeah.
They can't take you seriously, and then even to this day, it's still a big joke about how loose and leery I was. They love it and they think it's great, but I carry that.
Yep.
How can they take me seriously? How can they respect what I'm trying to do or lead a team if they've seen me calling everyone F's and C's like you did in the lift and, after a million cups of loudmouth soup and just being an absolute maggot. So, so I really worked hard at keeping that professional line professional and not letting that come in the way. But I would give the minibar a touch-up as soon as I walk in the door. They have the piccolos of, red wine or white wine, and it's just down the hatch. So I always enjoyed that. But I found that after working with hundreds of people all day long, 4 flights, that's, and flight crew, cabin crew, ground crew, caterers, you're dealing with about 400 people, 800 people a day. I'm peopled out. I don't want to, people are wanting to have a drink when you finish a 12-hour day. I'm like, no, mate, I'm peopled out. I've been talking to you all day. I'm not required. And plus, what's the point in having one drink? We've spoken about that before. So I was peopled out. And then the other thing was I couldn't sleep. Like 1 drink or 10 drinks. William Porter talks about it in Alcohol Explained, what happens with your sleep patterns. Yep. And, even if I have 1 glass of wine, I just have a really, really shit night's sleep. So that was where I sort of sat with drinking. But then what I saw just really boozy, like say, for example, in the crew, you get the crew transport to the airport each day, and you'll be sitting in like squash little like 6 crew in this little van, and you can just smell just reeking of alcohol, coming off like flight crew and cabin crew. Do
pilots get tested or any?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay, before every flight.
Not every flight.
Oh, it's like a random.
It's a bit of a random thing.
Yeah.
And we have strict rules and regulations about how long your last drink is before you can fly again, that sort of stuff. So, and I mean, alcohol might reek off people in different ways anyway, so they might be still within their zone, but it's kind of like, oh God, you reek of alcohol and you're about to fly this airplane, but they know what the rules are, and immediately dismissed if they were ever to blow over. Lots and lots of room parties, like people getting real leery, going to each other's rooms and just really having a good knees up in room parties and stuff like that. But I think, and also if you are in the aviation industry, and a lot of people sort of can sometimes like, you know, when we get in, we call it a hot turn. As soon as you get in, you've got to like quickly get changed and go down to the bar and have a drink. So they call it a hot turn, which is actually aviation speak for aircrafts turning around as well.
Okay.
So when you land somewhere, get everyone off, and you've only got half an hour to turn the aircraft around and then to take off again, so you call it a hot turn. Anyway, so crew would be always like, when we get in, we're going to have drinks, da-da-da-da-da. I always sort of had a bit of a plan, had my sort of little plan in place to be able to say no thank you. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes you'd be a bit pressured into having drinks with people. So I think that's a little tip for any aviation crew that are listening now. Just have your little plan of attack saying, whatever it is, I don't know, you're meeting someone else, or no, you can't, or no, I'm not up for it, whatever it is, because sometimes, particularly the boozers, will press you into wanting to have a drink as well because they don't want to probably drink on their own or be by themselves. But like I said, it can be a bit lonely when you're away from home for such periods of time. So...
Hard to avoid. But it's hard to avoid that, especially when you are away and your colleagues are going out for a drink.
Yeah.
It's really, that rubber arm is getting twisted pretty hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Look, I'm probably a minority. Most people always love catching up and having a drink, and that's great. But I think because I had that, didn't want to cross that professional line and keep things nice and tidy. Yeah. But the other thing I find too, when we were talking about workplace, and I just find booze... particularly in publicans, pilots, policemen, like it's just a really grubby culture because I saw so much cheating and affairs happen as a result of alcohol as well. Experienced that firsthand as well. So I just find it really grubby.
Which is one industry we didn't actually touch on was politics.
Oh,
that's a biggie.
Yes, massive.
Someone needs to go in there and really ruffle up some feathers and educate the men in there and women.
I think you just put your hand up, Breeza.
Yeah, I'd love to.
There you go.
Ruffle some feathers up.
Yep. Watch this space. I reckon we're going to reflect on this conversation in, say, another 12 months' time, and you'll be up there in Canberra shaking them up.
I hope so.
There you go. You've put it out. We're manifesting it right here, right now.
That's
it.
My experience has been similar to yours, Maso, and even starting back. So I worked in a chemist for 3 years, and I remember one. I'd been out on a Thursday night or something because my friends were at university, so I went out with them, and I made Mum ring up the chemist the next day and say I was sick, but I was hung. I was hungover, so that was pretty bad. I look back at those times thinking I must have reeked of booze because I think it was Tuesday or Thursday night was junior night, and so you'd go out with your mates because you'd bounce back the next day.
Yeah.
And then moving into corporate, so I did corporate for 10 years, small business for 8 years, currently in small business, and they bring different reasons to drink. So if I talk about corporate, when you go on conferences, there is always copious amounts of booze. Like I'm talking copious amounts. Then it was funny because I was in my 20s then and I was going out most weekends and having big weekends. During the week, I wouldn't drink. So even if I was away at a conference midweek, I wouldn't have that much to drink. But it was always the married men or married women who were letting their hair down. They're away from their kids, away from their partner. They would be going hard, and I'd be like, I can't face alcohol after the weekend I've had. It was interesting dynamics. But I went to a rewards and recognition thing, and the company took away 50 staff to Hawaii. 50 staff and their partners to Hawaii. Yeah. And it was over 3 days, and we partied till we fell into a heap. It was at every single function because the whole thing was organised. It was amazing. Actually, Tom Williams, you remember Tom Williams?
Yeah.
He got flown over just to hang out with us.
What?
So on the first day before the official sort of junket had started, there was a group of us sort of at this cafe in Waikiki, and I spotted Tom Williams, and I'm like, I slid off my chair. I'm like, oh my God, Tom Williams. And I ran over to him, and we just had a chat, and he was like, I'm just here with some mates. And he said he was like doing a surfing documentary.
Yeah.
So we're just chatting away. And then the next day when the actual official, junket started, he rocked out on stage and he's like, I'm just here to party with you, basically.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so lots of booze in that corporate environment, in those, conferences that you go to, networking dinners that you go to as well.
Mm.
And then on the flip side of that, going into leaving corporate world and running a business, I don't have an IT help desk anymore. I don't have colleagues to bounce stuff on, off. So when I originally started the business from home, so I could have a wine in front of me at nighttime doing work, or I could have a wine at 3:00 on a Friday afternoon while I was doing work. Or if I was stressed, I could be, drinking wine. Like it's you can link and sync alcohol to any industry, I feel.
Yeah.
And one thing we used to do in corporate, and this got me thinking, Maso, is we used to have and I used to run it. It was like a well-being kind of check-in. So at a weekly meeting, we'd go around the table. They'll say, I don't know, 15, 20 of us. We'd go around the table and I'd have my little book, and you'd say what you're going to do, what you'd want to achieve for the week that was to do with your well-being. So it might be, well, I'm going to walk every day this week, or I'm going to cut out sugar, or I'm going to read a book. So it was all around sort of doing something. And even in workplaces now, like you might have a netball team with your workplace, or you might have a walking challenge that you do. I have never heard of a booze or no booze challenge.
Oh,
except for like your dry July and all that sort of stuff. But in my whole working career, I've never had a workplace say, let's, limit our alcohol for a week, or I don't know.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. Yes. There's something in that, Breeza.
Yeah, I just don't think it's in the alcohol's not in the conversation when it comes to well-being yet. I still don't think we're there.
No, it's not. You're right. I think this is something. Look out for Breeza's next app.
This all comes off the back too of seeing Wayne Schwatter last night in Bendigo. He was absolutely brilliant, amazing.
Yes.
And we're getting him on the potty. Spoiler.
We are Schwatter. Can't wait to get him on.
But if you get a chance to see him, if everyone's listening and you get a chance to see Schwatter, go along. He speaks with such conviction. He's so passionate, and he's a man on a mission. He's a man on a mission to normalise talking about mental health and to save lives, essentially.
Love that.
He's a bloody gun.
Much. Yeah.
Gun. But yeah, that whole, alcohol, well-being, getting the best out of yourself in the workplace. Like, I think employers have a massive responsibility there.
Yeah. Yeah, too right. I was listening to on, I think it was Mamma Mia yesterday, talking about there's a company in New Zealand they have 4 days on and then they have maybe 3 days off, and in that one of those days off, it's like a self-care day. And they found that there was more productivity and all the good things that happen with workplaces by giving them less time off work. Giving them more time off work. More time off work. So they talk, and it's like a mental health care actual day where it's all about self-care. So really interesting. And I think
good's that?
Yeah, so good, so good. I think I've never. I'll be honest. I have drank at work once, and it was really early on. I was working in a restaurant. And I don't know what was going on for whatever reason. Something was razzing me up, and I did pour some Sauvignon Blanc in a coffee mug and sipped away just to get through the day.
Yeah. What was your role at the restaurant? Were you customer facing?
Day duty manager.
Okay, yeah, right. Big dog.
Yeah, big dog. And then I never ever drank flying, but geez, I thought about it a lot.
I bet.
But I'm aware that, and I have heard, particularly on international flights, crew would knock back a little, little 30 ml shot of, whatever it was to get them through the flight. I don't know. I could never ever do that. And I worried me sick to think about, if there was an, emergency or something and you were inebriated, it would just be catastrophic. So, but then obviously in hospitality industry, Although I didn't drink, I think there was only one night that I had a bit of a booze behind the bar, and I think it was like our last night when we were moving from one nightclub to another and got a bit stuck in at the end of the night. But generally, I always kept it pretty tidy. But lots of people didn't. Like lots of people, drink on the job, and particularly publicans like Noddy. Everyone wants to have a drink with publican. Yeah. Bit unavoidable, isn't it?
I was just about to say when Noddy spoke to us, he said how some of his staff have a heaps normal now after their shift.
They're knockoffs.
Yeah, which like why wouldn't you? Like yeah. And when I think back to again corporate, we had a fridge at the staff room. Yeah. And it always had booze in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you go. And did you ever drink on the job?
I was just thinking when you were mentioning it, I don't reckon I've ever maybe in London working in a pub. Probably knocked a few back then. Yeah. But I never actively chose to get blind not even getting blind, but no, it probably never entered my head to drink while I was at work. Yeah. Well, because you knew that there's work and then there's drinking. Yeah. But near like on a Friday afternoon in the office, 3:30. Yeah. And I was doing this up until I, stopped drinking. But we'd have a beer. We'd have crack a beer at 3:30. Yeah, yeah. And just still beaver away at our on our computers. Beaver away. That's so funny. Do you know what I was just thinking then, which reminded me of when you said hairdressers? When you go get your hair done now, you can actually have a drink. Yep. And I went through a stage only a few years ago. I would specifically go to this hairdresser because I would be able to have 3 glasses of bubbly. How just funny. Get a little bit pissy while my hair was getting a bit cooked. Yes. Like, what are you doing? I loved it, but that's just day written off, isn't it? I can relate, Maso, because there's a couple of salons that do the same thing in town. Yeah. And I went to one of them, I don't know how many years ago, but someone had said, what hairdresser you go to? And I said, this one, because you get a champagne. And I think they probably generally only give you one, but I was piggy and, would be like, yep, another one. People coming, just bring the bottle. What an absolute wreck. And I think we see things through a different lens now. So you just pick up how often booze is around either a workplace or, a hairdresser or a venue that you're going to. Yeah. There is booze. Yeah, booze. Even there's, because I've got my little doggy daycare business, there's little pub crawls. I think there's actually, you take your dog for a doggy pub crawl. Yeah. I mean, great name. I do like the name. Pub crawl. But that's, oh, wow. Yeah, everywhere. Unbelievable. Isn't it though? Yeah. Yeah. So I think, and one of our listeners actually said to us that she had been listening to the potty and they then got alcohol-free drinks at their Christmas party. Oh, so good. So we're not, our whole conversation has never, ever been about no booze anywhere. Yeah. We're just saying let's rethink, the amount of booze perhaps we're, splashing everywhere. Correct. And give your employees another option, such as an alcohol-free drink. Because at the end of the day too is if you're at a Christmas party, say you're an employer and you're hosting a Christmas party and one of your employees is blind drunk and something happens to him or her, that's on you. Yeah, yeah. So the responsibility is massive. The responsible service of alcohol. Actually, one thing, it's really interesting to see the different responsible service of alcohol in aviation when serving booze here in Australia. We're really strict. Like you can't serve, normally if you're on a long flight, say from here to Cairns or something, you've got the Yobbo's wanting to order 2 cans so they don't have to wait for you to come back. We can only serve 1 at a time. Pay for 2, but you've got to call your call bell and come back, okay? So because we've got to keep a lid on it. And we are really, it is wonderful the amount of communication that happens between cabin crew to say, this guy's just had another drink. We really do keep it good. Yeah, we really, really do. We're well across it here in Australia and we communicate really effectively between each other. Which is awesome because it wouldn't have always been like that, would it?
No, God, no. I mean, we used to smoke on airplanes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Anyway, so we all communicate really, really well because we know that if someone is intoxicated on an aircraft, things can escalate pretty quickly and no one wants that. I've had many of incidences happen. Never had to restrain anyone. It has been pretty close, which is, a bit unsavoury, or had to, I think I've told you before, had to boot people off even before they come on a plane. Like, you can't be on an aircraft intoxicated, but international travel, their whole thing in the UAE is there's no such thing as no. It's yes to everything. So they can get as drunk as they want, but they have this little thing called delay, defer, dilute, and I'll come up with the fourth one in a second. So what happens if someone wants another drink and you know that they've had too many already, you say, yep, no worries. You'll go into the galley. You'll delay it so it'll give them a bit more time, or you'll defer, so you're talking a bit of garbage, and then you'll actually dilute their drink. So you'll actually just you'll still make the drink, but you'll just pour the booze a little bit in the top so they can still smell it. They think they're getting a little bit of booze, but it's a little bit diluted.
That's a great little hack, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So I guess in summarising, Maso, have we got a little key message to people?
It's okay to say no.
Yeah. Get better at saying no.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, if you're feeling pressured from other people, it's okay. And
again, in my experience with corporate, it tends to be the blokey guys that are just like, their tie's off and they're like, come on, have another drink.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they're, numbing themselves with booze. That's on them. Don't feel like you have to be swept up just to be a part of it.
Yeah.
The amount of times, oh my God, actually one thing I want to share, Maso, is every year I haven't for the last few years, but every year I would go to a social media marketing conference in San Diego. So this was probably an outlay to like on me. It was an outlay of about $6,000 to get myself over to the conference, accommodation, all that sort of stuff. And for most of the conference, we were partying. And you know what? I've still got some great friends and we still keep in contact all over the world, which is great. But when I would go to the actual conference to, be a sponge to get information, I was switched off. I was tired. I was just like gagging for another drink. I was like not really getting the full benefit of this, conference that I paid $6,000 to attend.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would have got a lot more out of it. But
yes, God.
So yeah, don't feel like and looking back at all the conferences I've been to, I was tired mess the next day. Yeah. And not at my, not firing on all cylinders, that's for sure.
Not peaking at your best level.
Yeah. So maybe just back off. Still drink if that's your thing, go for it. But maybe just be mindful of how much booze you are consuming. And as an employer, I think there is definitely, space that to educate your staff.
Yeah.
And to encourage them and hold space for them to be able to, have a choice of alcohol-free drinks.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Good advice.
Takes regret, you can't forget. Cellular memory deficit. Takes regret.
All right, so this text regret came in from a listener. So she woke up after she had been to a party. And where is it? She woke up and she'd been out, right? And she woke up the next day and saw a text that she'd sent to her friend. And this kind of goes in theme with my shame story a little bit. So there is swearing.
Yeah.
So the text she'd sent,
love it,
which she can't remember, is, "I'm sorry, but the little cunt deserved everything he got." That was the text that she woke up to going, oh. Anyway, so I'm going to try and do this story justice. So, and I'm going to say names, make up names here, just because there's three people involved in this story. So we'll call Sarah. So Sarah was the one who sent the text, and we'll say her friend's Jenny.
Yeah,
and I'll bring the other name in. So Jenny had told Sarah about this story of a young 18-year-old kid that had crashed his truck, and he was drunk. He was drunk driving, right? And he'd crashed his truck. He had lied to his parents about it and got a new ute. So I think it was actually a ute that he actually was drink driving, crashed, lied to his parents, and his parents didn't know he was drink driving, and they bought him a new ute. So Jenny had told Sarah this story, right? Anyway, so Sarah and Jenny were at this party, and this kid happened to be at the party, right?
Okay.
So Sarah's drinking, and got a little bit, little bit lippy.
Lucy lip service.
Yeah, and he got a little bit lippy. She got a little bit lippy to the 18-year-old kid, and so he started firing back at Sarah, right?
Oh.
And so he then put two and two together and thought, well, this Jenny bird, who he knew, has told Sarah this story about me, that I had lied to my parents. Oh. So that caused friction between Jenny and Sarah, and Jenny was annoyed that Sarah had, brought up this whole thing with this kid, right? Mm. So then Sarah gets home and she sends that text message saying, I'm sorry, but the little cunt deserved everything.
Shut down.
Obviously, she was boozing on, and it just all came out. There was no holding back.
I know, really let it out. Tell us how you really feel.
That's it.
Thank you so much, listener.
It's time for the recommendation of the week.
Before we jump into my recommendation of the week, because we've been talking about alcohol in the workplace, doggy daycare business, I've just had a doggo dropped off for the day, and this doggo, his name is Tequila. He's an absolute cracking little dog.
He's a cracker. Hello, Tequila.
He's a ripper. He's actually a bloody little beauty. But yeah, Tequila, unavoidable. Yeah, so my recommendation this week, I'm so excited about it actually. I'm just going to, is what sort of deodorant do you use, Breeza?
I just run a plain Jane Rexona purple top, or Mum. Is it Mum? Oh, Rexona, I think.
Well, I've got on to Exposed Naturals. It's a little paste. You into a little paste?
Yep.
Into some natural deodorant. So what they're actually, first and foremost, you can actually buy sample pots. So I got you get 4 little sample pots. This one's charcoal magnesium, this one's lemongrass coconut. They've got the mandarin and something or other. Nope, lost it. There we go. I will post this all online, obviously, in my little recommendations, but they are gorgeous. I'm real sweaty Betty. I have that now I can't. My mind is blank. Anyway, get this deodorant. It's really good.
Where do you buy it from, Maso?
Yeah, just online. So
what's it called again? Exposed
Naturals. It's a small business. We can't thank enough for the support. Doing good things, feeling good, should be natural. It's plastic-free, toxin-free. And it just smells so delicious. And
tell me about the waft. Do you get pit waft?
Yeah, well, because I've still got no smell from COVID. But prior to that, it smells really, really, really good. I love the lemongrass and coconut, and I love the mandarin. Yeah, it's Australian mandarin. It's 100% natural deodorant. Nice. Yep. So,
do you find, so here we are talking about pits, but do you find that you might get a little bit wafty by the end of the day?
Well, no, not with this.
No, but normally?
No, I'm not a stinker. I'm not a stinkratter.
I feel like I can, if I have a pong, like a little whiff, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh.
Bit rough. Maybe you need to get onto. This because
I'm going to.
Well, this is what happens as well. Is that when you change from deodorant to deodorant, particularly from natural, like your current deodorant, which has probably got aluminium and all sorts of things in it, when you change over to a natural deodorant like this, you will get a bit pongy because it's your pH or whatever it is. Your skin's just going.
Yeah,
it's a common little.
I know, right? Squealing pig sound.
But yeah, gorgeous, really, really gorgeous product. I was using No Pong, and that sort of made me a bit smelly, and it was a bit funny on fabrics. But this is my new favourite gear. In fact, I want to team up with them. So Exposed Natural.
Love that. Thanks, Maso.
That's okay.
I've jotted that down because I'm going to give it a crack.
Yeah, and we love looking after little small businesses.
Oh, yeah, we do.
But the paste is just, the consistency is just so, so nice as well. It's just a nice little paste.
Nice.
And it just feels good to be putting something on your body that's not like toxins and stuff. So, yeah.
Thanks,
Great.
mate.
What you got?
Well, in true Breeza style, I haven't got a product. So my recommendation this week is connection.
Oh, connection section.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love that.
it sort of came about through seeing Shorter last night, but
Yeah.
it made me think, actually, and I was listening to a podcast this morning with Hugh Van
Kleinenberg. Hang on, the rubbish man's just out the front. Remember when you had the rubbish truck last time?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Rubbish Man. Yeah. So, Hugh said, and I'm going to ask you this question, Maso. How many times a day do you think Americans touch their phone?
Americans touch their phone.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
3,000 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just made me think, disconnection from the phone and more connection in real life, in IRL. And I actually, another on the back of that is pick up the phone and connect with someone who you know is struggling, or even if they're not struggling. And I've done this probably 4 times in the last, is that Rubbish Man's
Can you feel him
clanking around? That's all right. He must be like easing, going down the street. He's getting less.
Moving on.
So I have contacted probably the last couple of weeks, just letting people know I'm thinking about them. And because I'd heard, when people talk and like, oh, this person, I'm like, okay. So then I reached out to that person that I'd heard about and just said, oh, just letting you know I'm thinking of you. No need to text me back. Just letting you know. And one of them wrote back going, I really needed to hear that, Breeza, because I'm doing this, and it's it's really hard at the moment. She goes, I really needed to hear that right then at the right time.
Amazing.
And I just think, don't hesitate. Like if you hear someone's going through a bad patch, don't hesitate to contact them, because your little text message or your little voices that you leave them could make a difference in the day that they're having or what they're going through.
Love that. And if you ever, I totally agree. Can I just tell you a quick story off the end of that? Like if you're unsure or you feel like I'm not sure what to say, it's better to say something than say nothing.
Yes, Maso. That's so true. Yep, it's so true. So don't hesitate.
Yep. From the little hug emoji. Have you seen that little hug emoji?
I was looking for it the other day. I legitimately was looking for it because you know how you can do it on Facebook, the little reaction. Yeah. I could not find it on. Is it the little one going like that, like the hands out?
No, not that one. It's actual hug. Let me show you.
Find it. And while you're finding that, I'll just quickly say one thing that I did. Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah, it's a
Can you send it to me so I can?
Do you want me to? I'll send you a hug.
Send me a hug. Yeah. The other thing I did. Going back 3 years ago, is I went and bought myself an alarm clock.
Oh, look at you go. How about that?
I bought an alarm clock so that my phone wouldn't be in the bedroom at night time, and then it's not the first thing I pick up when I wake up.
Good.
So alarm clock and also a watch.
Calculator?
Calculator.
Remember watch calculators? Remember when they tired one, I think?
I do remember. They were like very innovative back in the day.
Weren't they though?
But
sorry, I cut you off.
I haven't got a watch on at the moment because my Apple Watch is charging. But have some sort of watch on. Doesn't have to be an Apple Watch, obviously. And if you do have an Apple Watch on, turn the notifications off. You don't need it. But the watch also prevents you from reaching for your phone to check the time. Then you go, I've got a notification today. You go down that rabbit warren. So just, I don't know. I'm just really big on this whole being mindful of how much, what content you're consuming and how much content you're consuming. And I've got to get better at it.
Yeah, good. Great advice. Touche. Well done.
Touche. Well, that's us, Maso, for another week.
That's us. It's been so nice. Good little hit out.
So good. And we've got a guest on next week. I can't remember who we've got on. Have we got?
Yeah, Booze Free Dad.
Oh, Booze Free Dad.
Yes. This chat with Greg is so bloody brilliant.
Oh,
Cannot wait for you to hear this. And if you want to get a little bit all over him, just as a lead up, he is at Booze Free Dad on Instagram.
Yeah, get around him, Pete.
Yes, he's a bloody cracker. We love that chat.
All right, mate, so let's scram, hey?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Jog on. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Love having you all here. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is proudly produced by our audio engineer, music extraordinaire, Eric Ladd.
We love you, Eric.